started as an effort by a charismatic preacher to build a new society, but it ended, of course, with the tragic deaths of more than 900.
Why did you start to take in the children?
Over 21 years, 28 young people went through our hands.
Why did you do that?
I love children.
Now, Channel 13, Eyewitness News, tonight.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining us. A fanatical, scripture-quoting religious leader who moved to Waco to await the end of the world, instead may be to blame tonight for the deaths of several federal agents.
When I stand on the mountain and I say, do it, it gets done. If it don't get done, then I'll move on it. And that's the last thing in the world you want me to do.
Well, hey, Kim.
Well, hello. And hello, everyone. Welcome.
Yeah, it's so good to see everyone.
It is. We are back. So good that everyone is back. Hope everyone's doing well tonight.
Yeah. Oh, it's good to see you, Just Chat and Shyla. Got Shermare, Claire. And of course, Tessie. You saw Tessie and John they hit a deer in their new car.
Yes. Well, I'm glad they're safe. Deer can really mess up a car. I can't stand it. They'll total a vehicle. So
And, like one time I had a deer hit my car. Like I stopped for it and he was just like, so I'm still going to hit you.
Yeah. Well, it's almost like they dare you at some point, especially the ones up north. They're so big. Like they kind of just trot into the road and, they just stand there like playing chicken.
Yeah. Something, those deer have no charisma.
Not like cult leaders. That's so true. Hi, Julie.
That was my segue. No.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. Well, that's our topic tonight: charisma and cult leaders. And what does it take to be a cult leader? I thought that was an interesting topic that you came up with, Stacey.
Well, a lot of times with cults and stuff, they say like people are brainwashed into it. But the thing is with brainwashing is it takes a lot of time. So it means you have to have something that is holding people there. You can't just brainwash someone in a day.
Right. With so many different types of relationships, that slow manipulation and control that they take over, it does take a lot of, because there's so many like red flags that come up during this time frame where you ask yourself, look like the outside looking in, like, why didn't they see that red flag? Why didn't they see that red flag? And they could have just walked away. How did they get sucked into this cult? That doesn't make sense. And it's because of it's because they're so good at it. They're so good at just captivating people and holding them in.
And, and something, when you hear the word charisma, of course, it's compelling attractiveness to a person or a charm. Part of having charm is being able to assess the situation. So they can see something in you that they see in themselves and they know how to exploit it.
Right. They're really good at reading people. And they have this strange ability to almost be like a chameleon and become whatever you want them to be, or whatever kind of person they need to be to suck that person in and grab their attention.
It's like they use charisma is something that obviously a lot of people use for different situations in life besides being a cult leader. Like you're not going to buy a car from somebody who's not very charismatic. You've got to have a salesperson type personality. What cult leaders do with charisma is they take that ability, and with some people it's a talent, and with other people they've just learned how to do it, because you can't teach yourself to be charismatic. But what they do is they create like a power imbalance between them and the people that are following them.
Right. And I mean, I think about where do you see this type of behavior, and not just in cults, but every day. Um, we see this type of behavior when it comes to, I mean, we're like, you could see it in politics right now, where we're pulling people in to a very specific way of group think, and it's mesmerizing, this leader that kind of rises above everybody else and becomes godlike to all the other people, and now all of a sudden we're worshiping them. That is that type of ability for a person to do that. It takes a lot. It takes a lot out of that person, and it's not something that they just become overnight. These people typically have been like this their whole lives, and they watch people, and they go through several different parts of learning how to become this. And like you said, with car salesmen, where they have to like hook you in and like close the deal, I almost feel like they watch people before they walk up to them, and it's so creepy to me to think about that there's human beings that are capable of manipulating other people like that, in a car dealership of all places. But more than that, in every aspect. So we're not just talking about cults, like you're being manipulated everywhere.
Oh, we're being manipulated in the grocery store. Like the stuff on the end caps isn't there for our convenience.
Very true. That's very true. Oh my God, everyone's a cult leader.
But like the thing is that if I go to Walmart today, Kroger's not going to send me an email tomorrow like, I can't believe you were at Walmart yesterday. Don't ever come back here. You're banished.
It would be funny if they did, though.
I would probably exclusively go to Kroger if they did that, even though it's on the other side of town.
Probably. I would too. I think I would be full on Kroger if they did something funny like that.
But that's something that, again, they use their charisma to get into. They can find people, and they can find your weakness, and they can exploit it. That's why you see like Charles Manson, most of his followers were women.
Right. Well, he knew how to exploit them and draw them in. And they were there. He could do no wrong in their eyes.
And grocery stores should have more snark. They absolutely should. There's no other reason to go there. It's annoying, full of people.
I agree, Leon. I like the Twitter snark with like the major chains, and there was one situation in this little town that I live in where we were getting a Zaxby's, and then a Popeyes was coming in, and there was nothing here. And the one restaurant that was here was a KFC. And so the signs started going up about like whose chicken was better everywhere. And then Wendy's got involved, and it was a whole mess. Like the whole town had signs about chicken, and it was very snarky and very fun. But I think businesses should always do that. Creates a little bit of competition. And I would go to the business with the most snark.
Oh, yes. Like, I won't eat Wendy's because, I worked there for years.
Right.
But I still will tell them, like, they have the best Twitter. They do it better than anyone on there.
They do. Their Twitter is hilarious. That's very true.
No, like, I know that last screen that I put into that little intro there, it went by pretty fast, and I just wanted to read that quote to you. It says, many cults start off with high ideals that get corrupted by leaders or their board of advisors who become power hungry and dominate and control members' lives. No group with high ideals start off as a cult. They become one when their errant ways are exposed. And that to me was like, that is probably the best way I've heard it described.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't think they do start off just thinking, all right, we're fixing to be a cult.
Yeah. Do you think anyone wakes up today like, today I'm going to become a cult leader? That's it. No.
And you know, and I think that it just starts getting to the point where it's like, well, I got away with that. So how much further can I push? How much further can I push? How much further can I push? And I think there's a lot of people that stay in it because it's like, well, this is all I got. That's exactly. No one joins a cult. They don't figure it out until they're in, and it's way too late and it's too scary to think about leaving, or it's too dangerous to try to leave.
Right. Well, yeah, I mean, and most people don't understand that it's a cult. I mean, a lot of people are in cults. They don't even know they're in cults at this point. So they truly believe the ideals of what they're living. And they have no idea that it's a cult. They'll tell you that it's not a cult, that it's a true religion. So
we all like to joke about not drinking the Kool-Aid. It's like, oh, I would have just left. You wouldn't have gotten me to do that. People did try to leave. They were killed anyways. Like,
right.
By the time it got to that point, there was no escape.
Right. I mean, that was a horrible. We should probably cover Jonestown eventually. It's just such a difficult one to cover because of all the magnitude that happened there. Yeah, the magnitude of it. Exactly.
Julie Virgo did drink my Kool-Aid.
Yeah. Oh, Julie.
We also sent Kool-Aid out to somebody else in one of our giveaway boxes. And I think
that was our joke.
Yes. And I think I also sent them Tropical Punch because it's the best flavor.
Yeah, right. Big Papa, I think that I don't know if you've watched any of the documentaries about Waco, but yeah, and the Branch Davidians, but you know, they were already a religious cult. I'm going to call them a cult. But the Branch Davidians were already a cult before David Koresh even took over. He just took over. And I don't think that any of them ever thought that they were a cult. Actually, they still exist. Some of them still think that it's a religion. It's interesting.
I mean, you should feel that way about like the FLDS too.
Yeah, they're an offshoot of the Mormon. No, they're not Seventh-day Adventists. Sorry.
But like with FLDS, like they were already a cult before he took over. He just took it to a whole nother level and got caught.
Yes. Well, and that's the problem is, well, that's a problem, not the problem. A problem of it is there's so many different religions that they don't start off at cultish, right? So there's religions, you can believe in a religion and it's not a cult. And the leadership of the religion changes and it becomes a cult based on that leader. And if they possess the right charisma and the psychotic behaviors of a leader that would start to just circle the wagons closer and closer within the organization and start to make rules that don't make sense and start to control people more and more. And then you become a cult that used to be a religion. It's kind of how the Branch Davidians worked. FLDS, that it happened there. So, you know, I think the difference between a religion and a cult is you can leave a religion, you can't leave a cult. So,
well, you know, like the Anthill Kids, that was an offshoot of Seventh-day Adventist, and at some point his members were letting him perform surgeries on them, and he had as much experience doing that as I do. Right. So, and eventually, like, he ended up amputating one of his members' arms. Like, this guy was crazy.
Yeah, that's a horrific one too. Stacy and I love cults. We love covering this stuff and talking about cult leaders or giving you guys stories about different cults and things that are in the news about cults, things like that. But it's it's almost as bad as covering like true crime because of how horrific the things are in the cults. So researching it, like, it does something to me,
And there's sometimes when you get to it when it'll say, like, how many children were involved, and it's like, oh, I just can't talk about you right now. I don't even want to read about it right now. And like, I know that it's part of what happens, especially in a lot of these cults, but sometimes I just don't have that to tackle.
Yeah. Yeah. So, well, no, Julie, yeah, gummies for looking that stuff up. Listen, I I'd love to say that that would help, but I almost think it would make it worse. Like, I think I would be more emotional if I'm high and reading about that stuff. So I don't know. It's cults are so interesting to me, and I love learning about them and reading, researching it and reading into what's happening with them, especially the stuff that's in the here and now, and not cults that have been around for 100 years. But it's so depressing. It's so depressing because they're just so horrible to women and children. Every cult we've read about, horrible.
And like Lucy says, also a lot of cults don't start out as religious, but later take on religion. That's entirely true. They often take ideas from all over, like religion, politics, whatever their ideological beliefs are and thoughts, and eventually that morphs into fanatical faith and beliefs in some kind of corrupted mishmash of whatever suits what I want things to be.
Yeah. And it's, well, the fanatical, like, belief system it's almost like they just start making up their own, I don't know, their own rules that becomes a religion. It's so strange. It's nothing is ever really just like out of one specific religion. It's just anything that.
And once you get like 2 or 3 people to follow you, it's easier to get more and more, because like, say I wanted to start a religion and I make you my number one person. Okay, you're my best friend. Well, Julie sees that you're my best friend, but Julie also wants to be my best friend. So Julie's going to want to try and be exactly like you and follow the rules that you follow, so that way she can be my new best friend. Well, then, Shyla sees Julie and sees that Julie's trying to be just like you, and it just kind of spirals from there until we have this whole group sitting around drinking coffee because we have nothing better to do.
In the coffee cult, yes. It's manic. It's manic how they come and they continue to change. And
it almost follows like a pyramid scheme.
Yep, absolutely. Well, we talked about that before, how because like Nexium was like a pyramid, well, kind of like a weird.
And he legitimately started a pyramid scheme before he ever started Nexium.
Right, like in the 80s.
Yes.
And then who else was kind of, Scientology is a little bit like a pyramid scheme where you have to buy into it. You have to buy like the classes and all, and the all that stuff, and it costs thousands and thousands of dollars until you hit clear. And then, going beyond that and becoming a level 33 dragon sage, whatever the hell they are, they're it's like it could cost you $100,000. So
yeah, and if your religion costs you $100,000, then it must not be that important, because they're not in a big hurry to get that story out.
Right. Like, I wonder how much Jesus charged for his Sermon on the Mount, you know? Like,
Like-
what was the entry fee?
Like, I don't know, but I probably don't have it.
Right.
If aliens are going for 100,000, Leon, come on.
I don't yeah, a
Leon,
lot of
go get your boys.
A lot of cult leaders are grifters, Deborah. That is so true. I mean, it's their job. It's how they survive and how they become rich. 126 pancakes later, Big Papa. You know it.
That's the one
made,
that still gets me. Like, I'm sorry, but I only eat pancakes like maybe once a year.
but they had to make them every day and in the same way with the same.
Which we've already talked about how the last person that got the most crispiest fucking pancake they've probably ever eaten. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to say the F word.
So, it's funny because I made pancakes this last weekend and I was like the fastest pancake making lady ever because I wanted to see if I could get them all the same consistency and not have one that was like not done very well and the rest of them be super crispy. So it didn't work out too well. But I made just enough batter for all the 4 little girls that were in my house at the sleepover. I did not have to make 126 pancakes. I was very proud of myself.
Oh man, I can't ever make. I either make not enough batter or I make so much batter that it's like I thought I was inviting the neighborhood for brunch.
I'm telling you, that's usually how it goes. So I try to like underestimate the batter at first, but then I don't make enough and I keep adding mix and then adding water and then adding mix and then adding water. And then we're feeding the neighborhood. I'm like, the whole cul-de-sac needs to come over for breakfast.
So Stina says, I think anytime a religion really focuses on how their people are better than those of other religions, it can easily become a cult if the leaders take advantage. And this is where people get really mad because I have an unpopular opinion and will have to agree that people that follow the Institute of Basic Life Principles do fall under a cult. And just because KJ is an abhorrent person, we don't have to disagree with that.
I hate it when I have to stick up for KJ and or agree with the woman because other people are disagreeing with her for dumb reasons.
Yes.
So here we are again.
And Stina perfectly writes what they believe. They believe they are better than others because they're doing it the right way.
Yes.
And their leaders have taken advantage of it.
Oh, their leaders are the worst human beings on the face of this earth. They do absolutely nothing good for humankind. Nothing. They want women and children to be less than. They are usually some kind of sexual deviant, disgusting human being that's caught doing something highly illegal to a person. I mean, it runs rampant through that community. Not all of them. It's some of them allegedly. They're gross, and they are a cult, and they think that everything that they do is the right way to do things, and everything that they don't agree with is a sin, and you're all going to hell for it.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. It irritates me when you see stuff out there like, I can't believe she called this person. Yeah, she's wrong about a lot. She's wrong about a lot more than she's ever been right about. But you can still be right. A broken clock is right twice a day.
Right.
So please stop making me take up for Katie Joy, I guess is what I'm saying.
I know, because I really can't stand that lady. Can't stand her. But man, when people just want to disagree with her just because she's Katie Joy, it gets on my nerves. That's the truth.
People are like, well, I can't believe they still perm their hair like that. They literally were told to wear their hair that way. The clothes they wear was a suggestion of how they should dress. Yes, they were completely controlled. And the IBLP is not a religion. It is, and they're fundamental Baptists mostly, but it's just a way of life on top of their religion. You don't have to be offended for someone saying that the IBLP is a cult just because you're a Baptist. You don't have to be an IBLP and a Baptist. You can be, those are two different things.
Well, like Baptists are not a cult. Exactly. But the IBLP is just it's a belief system that is 100% cult like.
And absolutely, it seems a lot of times religions are overly focused on chastity and modesty or protecting a lot of what's of sexual deviance. 100. And yeah, it's the cultiest thing about a lot of the groups is they'll worship anyone who will go against a person.
Yep. Lucy, I agree with you. I was just reading that. The anti-KJ community, and it's so funny because we like make fun of the whole cult thing about like calling the different facets of this community, this anti-KJ community, and all those people cults. But they kind of are like they are these different little cliques. They're kind of cultish because if you don't believe what they believe, you're out. It's weird.
It's super weird. I like to think that maybe it's just because we still are in kind of a little pandemic and people are just losing their minds. And I'm like, maybe it's just because I prefer to be alone that this hasn't affected me in a way that I'm losing it. But some people are really starting to exhibit cult-like tendencies.
Well, we all know that the internet is just trash and that people on the internet can do some really horrible things. Like we've run into crazy stuff. But I don't know if I am going to blame the pandemic on people being crazy or not. I don't know. I know that it has affected people in a horrible way, but I don't know. I think that I want to believe that a lot of these people who are doing bad things on the internet and in these groups and in the anti-KJ community are just trash. They're just trash all the time, pandemic or not. And that's why they act the way that they do,
Yeah.
They're all
Hey, Bambi Rambles. It's so good to see you.
Hello. Dumpster fires everywhere, Leon. Yep. And Tessie, I agree. Uniting in hate is never good. The enemy of my enemy is not my friend. Not my friend. And I've seen that happening recently where it's like, oh, this person is out of that group over there that we can't stand. Let's befriend them. Nope. You don't remember what that person did?
Like, the enemy of my enemy is never my friend.
No. No, no, no. No. So,
and the thing is I'll, like I said, I'm not going to go around fighting fights that aren't my fight. So, we had quite a few people come into a couple that say some snarky stuff like, oh, are you going to be talking about how KJ is a cult leader? And I was like, first of all, this stream is about cult leaders with charisma.
Right. When have you ever seen KJ with charisma?
Like, why would you give her that much credit?
Right.
But the thing is, it's like, you can't get away from talking about her because no matter what your topic is, somebody's going to come at you with something else about her too. And it's like, I think you guys are just giving her too much credit. She washes through new subscribers so often She's the world's worst cult leader. She has
She
no
really is.
retention.
And that's the issue, right? Like, she hits an algorithm so much because she has so many hate watchers. Like, the hate watching is making her money. It's making her, and it's getting her new subscribers of people who then become haters of her later on, and just piling on to the hate community. But it doesn't matter to her. Like, she's still making money. She doesn't care at all. So she's still growing, and she's going to continue to be the person that she is. No amount of what people are doing is going to change her or make her better in any way. She does not learn from her mistakes at all. And she does not grow. She thinks that she is the best damn thing that ever happened to YouTube ever. And there's no change in that, people. So a lot of you guys are spinning your wheels trying to do something that just doesn't matter.
Yeah, she's grown up thinking that she's superior.
Right.
Which again is, a trait of a cult leader. I just don't think Katie Joy would ever have the charisma to ever, unless she's like Katie Joy called members to Jesse, Bear, and Todd. I don't know who else she's held on to.
Yeah. I don't know. I can't think of anyone. Zag Creations, maybe?
I'm just not even sure if they're a real person.
Yeah, I don't either. I thought for a long time that was Todd. But I could be wrong. KJ isn't the worst person in the world. Well, no, obviously. She isn't. But she is pretty horrible. She's pretty awful. I don't like her as a person at all. But it just, it just goes to show you that, like, we're kind of a cult because we hate her. Yeah. And we all get together on that.
Which is why I had to stop watching, because it's like I like to watch YouTube because I'm trying to get entertainment and escape from reality for a little while. And I was spending my time just watching stuff to be angry. It makes zero sense.
I know. I used to do it too, and now I just get bored with it. Like, I'll see her go live on Instagram because I'm not subscribed to her on YouTube, so I have no idea what she's doing on YouTube. But I still
you just swipe it away immediately and like, ugh, because that's what I do. Like, just the thought of even clicking on it, I'm like, ugh.
Yeah. Yes. I never even watch it. I don't click on it. I cannot. It's so weird.
Like, that noise is the best way I can describe the feeling that she gives me is, ugh.
And I used to get like really excited, like, oh my God, Katie's live. We got to go watch it and see what kind of fresh
dumb shit she gets up to this time. And now I'm just like, ugh, I don't care.
I agree. Can we also talk about the milk and bread cult of the South when Snow is very, what did it say? It jumped on me. Very vaguely mentioned. Leon. Okay, listen. Milk and bread is such a staple, and it's not just snow, it's also during hurricane season. Got to have the milk and the bread. So you
How else will I make milk sandwiches?
Right. Everybody's making French toast on a griddle or on the grill outside, I guess.
After we lose power.
Yeah. So, we freeze the milk here in the South. So you get 6 gallons of milk because you're not going to have power for 20 days. And you buy 10 loaves of bread because all you're going to eat is peanut butter and jelly sandwiches.
So see, I had the opposite thought because there was a slight chance we might get some winter weather tonight. I went and I was like, okay, I've got popcorn, extra butter. And that's how I did my grocery shopping for in case we were snowed in. And I don't think I bought milk or bread.
Yeah. I mean, because of the kids, milk and bread is a big one. But Leon, the alcohol run is first and foremost the most important. Whenever you're going to be snowed in, or if you're not going to have power because of hurricane, gotta have the alcohol. So, but then you got to get the milk and the bread, and I like to get lots and lots of snacks. So, chips and cookies.
I always just buy like a big box of like the little individual bags of chips so I don't have to like commit.
Yeah. And you can change up your chips every couple of hours, different kind.
Yes. I'm like, well, I might want Funyuns while I'm here and then get home and be mad that I didn't buy salt and vinegar. So,
That's a really good idea.
I'm telling you, don't want to listen to me because then you end up buying 2 drinks at Starbucks.
Which I do now because you taught me the trick of buy the iced one and the hot one and drink the iced one while the hot one's cooling down. So now I have to order 2 drinks every day at Starbucks. Thank you.
It's smart.
It certainly is. Reagan, I'm sorry that you're moody today. I need coffee too.
I actually texted Kim like right before we went live and was like, I'm prepared this time. I made coffee.
I didn't make coffee. I have a Coke Zero and a water sitting next to me. But I'll be drinking White Claw later whenever we get off of the stream. And
I have coffee, water, and White Claw.
Do you?
I do.
What flavor White Claw are we drinking?
I have blackberry because I stole them out of Preston's box.
I love the blackberry, but I think my favorite might be mango or pineapple.
Preston likes the mango. I'm a big fan of the lime.
The lime. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I like it. I like all of them. Have you had the watermelon? Oh,
Julie, I have not watched Sister Wives since probably the season they were moving to Las Vegas. Because I think Cody is disgusting.
Is Cody Brown culty? Yes. Is that your question? Yeah. They're a cult. They're part of the AUB. So, do we think, what does it say? What do you guys think about Sister Wives? Is Cody Brown culty? Yes. So they're part of a fundamentalist Mormon group called the AUB. And Christine's parents were like AUB royalty or something. They're really high up there. So, yes, they're for sure a cult. Anyone who tells you that you cannot marry another man, but I'm going to go sleep with all these other women, bye, that's a cult.
And like, I just couldn't watch it anymore because you want to just walk up to these ladies and like grab them by the shoulders and be like, you deserve more than this.
Yeah.
You're better than this. Stop it.
I mean, God, he's not even cute. Like, that's the problem, right? Like, he even looks like a douchebag and he's ugly. I don't get it.
I remember there was like, this was one of the early seasons and like their kids were fighting and one of them looked at the other one. He's like, well, okay then, Johnny Appleseed. And that was his insult. And to this day, my little brother was watching this with me. To this day, I will say that to him as an insult and he will lose it. Because it was like, what the F does that even mean? Like, well, all right then, Johnny Appleseed. That's right. You can't even have an online affair with a catfish. There's no equality there.
None. So, okay, listen, Julie, I understand that Mariah has come out, and that for all intents and purposes on TLC, they say that they accept her, but I am telling you that they do not accept her. Like she lives in Chicago, I think, and from everything I've read, she doesn't come home often. She doesn't agree with her religion. She like does not agree with the the way she was raised, and Mary doesn't live with the family anymore. She's running a bed and breakfast. Christine has left. So Cody still very much believes in the principle, which is what they call their stupid belief system. And probably Robin and Janelle very much believe it. But yeah, the rest of them, not religious.
And like Christine was the one that was nice to Mariah when she came out. Mary was actually standoffish about it. She was actually upfront with that.
Yeah, well,
so I think the
yeah.
cameras do play a very big part into the acceptance that we see.
Absolutely. The cameras put such a like Disney spin on that whole situation. You know, it just doesn't, it really doesn't do it justice, because of the fact that there's so many people who are going to think that like it's all roses, and then women might get sucked into that same type of behavior. Listen, I have an announcement. I have a new boyfriend, and his name is Jason Momoa. Yes.
And Kim broke up.
I broke up Lisa Bonet and Jason Momoa. Sorry, guys.
So, like, that's what I thought when I saw this season of American Horror Story, the cult one. I'm like, I'd follow Evan Peters. I don't know why I find him so attractive, because he's not really attractive. He's just such a great actor that I find him attractive, I guess. But I'm like, I'd follow him.
Yeah. Yeah, I actually thought I think he's pretty attractive too.
But he's not like traditional. He's not like Jason Momoa attractive.
Yeah, but you know how, like, I don't know. I don't always find traditional attractive. Okay, don't you guys. I don't think The Rock is attractive.
I don't think he's attractive at all.
I think he's not an ugly person, but I'm not like, oh my God, The Rock, Dwayne Johnson. Oh my God. I'm not like that. But Jason Momoa, I would throw myself at his feet. Like, what? I'm not sure I'd be able to speak if I were standing in front of him. You know?
Yeah, I would probably just sit there with like the biggest stupid look on my face, like.
Right. Right. Drooling a
so
little
they called security. Like, I think there's something wrong with this person. Yes, Stina, Evan Peters is where it's at. And I would join his cult. The Rock would make a great cult leader.
Who's Jason Momoa? Julie? I can't with you right now. Aquaman is Jason Momoa. What? Julie, Google Jason Momoa, please. The Rock's skin is really gorgeous. Ronnie, I agree. But I don't know, he's just not my speed. But Jason, holy moly. I don't know why. And did you hear that they're not calling it a divorce? Like, it's like
yeah, they're weird.
Yeah. Kind of like what were their names? The guy from Coldplay and
Gwyneth Paltrow, they're an uncoupling.
Yeah. So I don't know. They're not calling it a divorce, but they're ending their marriage. He's okay, Julie says. He's just okay. Julie's got Leon. She doesn't need anybody else. Back off from my Jason Momoa.
Right? Like I said, you can have Jason Momoa as long as I get Evan Peters.
That's right.
Jared Leto, it's not really a cult. It's more of a tongue-in-cheek thing, but people are dumb enough to pay his prices to do his dumb activities, so.
Mm-hmm.
Consciously uncoupled. That's what it was, Big Papa.
Thank you. Consciously uncoupled. Harry Styles is hotter. Okay. But I'm old enough to be Harry Styles' mama, I think.
I told you about the coffee lady asking me if I was going to be going to his concert one night, right?
Yes.
Like, because at first she's like, "Are you excited for the concert tonight?" And I'm like, "What concert?" She's like, "Harry Styles." And I'm just like, "How old do you think I am?"
That's so funny. I love it. I cannot imagine it. That would be like, okay, one of my nieces, she's older now, but back whenever the Bieber movie came out, she was like right around that age, like 13, 12 or 13, and in love with Justin Bieber. So I took her to that stupid movie in the theaters. And here I am, like this, 30-year-old woman watching this Bieber movie. And oh my God, it was so awful. So that is how I would feel going to a Harry Styles concert right now.
So I'm saying, like, it'd be one thing if, like, I did have a teenager, and that I would be taken to the concert, but me as a 35-year-old woman just going to a Harry Styles concert by myself, like, no. I do, however, have tickets to see Reba McEntire next month.
What? That's so fun. Oh my goodness. Well, here's your one chance, Fancy. Don't let me down.
That's exactly what I said.
Oh wow. Andrew Keegan has a cult. The guy from Moesha?
I think he was like in a cult or something.
Wasn't he in Seventh Heaven too? Yeah,
I
he was
like
one
I
of the
remember
kids.
that.
What?
Yeah, he founded a spiritual community in California called Full Circle. It's advanced spiritualism.
What happened to Full Circle Venice? Stina. Well, your cult girls will have to look into this. Maybe we'll cover it. This is interesting.
Yeah, we might do a video on that. And also, I want to say, like, I never thought Andrew Keegan was that cute when we were kids either.
No. And he's not cute now.
I never understood why he was like but that's just like Jonathan Taylor Thomas. All my friends were like, "I'm going to marry him." And I'm like, "Fine, I'm going to marry Devin Saw. You guys can have Jonathan Taylor Thomas."
Yep. All the girls loved him. They loved watching, what was it? The Tool show that he was on.
Home Improvement.
Home Improvement. Yep.
Well, now that we're
full time, because that was the show on the show,
Yes. That was the show where we got to see the Tool Man never be able to do anything. So how that stayed a show, I don't know.
Well, so I'll tell you who I had a crush on, and you're going to laugh because no one would have had a crush on him because he always played the dork. David Krumholtz. You know who he is?
I'm trying to think.
So he played in Addams Family Values. He played the dorky kid that fell in love with Wednesday.
Yes.
He's in a bunch of movies. He was in World's End. David, I have the biggest crush on him. I always have. So no one ever had a crush on him. I never had a crush on any of the same kids that all the other girls did.
Well, like I said, I just had the hots for Devin Saw, and I've always made sure to tell my friends that they could have JTT. And I just got done rewatching Numbers, so that's why I was like, I know the name.
Yes, Numbers. He was the main character in Numbers. Love that show. I'm about to embark on a Game of Thrones adventure.
Ugh.
I know.
Better you than me.
I know. I have been convinced that I have to watch Game of Thrones.
But you haven't even read the books yet.
I've never seen it, nor have I read the books. Are there books? I didn't know there were books.
Yes.
Great.
And everyone knows the rule. You got to read the book first.
Well, I guess I'll look up the books tonight. So, but I've been asked to watch
I wouldn't
Game
read
of
the
Thrones.
books.
No? Okay, fantastic. Literary pieces of garbage?
It's just not my genre. It's not fair for me to judge it because it's just not my thing.
Yeah, so Jason Momoa is in Game of Thrones. I didn't even know that. I know, TT. I found that out. And I was like, okay, I'll watch it.
Yeah, but Jason Momoa was in like Stargate something too, so.
Yes, he was in Stargate Atlantis, I think, right? Atlantis?
He was in one of them.
Yeah. No, I know, Big Papa. Isn't it crazy? Like, God, I just never was interested in this show ever. But I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna watch the episodes. We'll see how I do after season 1. Sold. I know, TT. That's what I said. I was like, I did not know Jason Momoa was in Game of Thrones. So we're gonna see. And if I like the show, then I'll start giving more shows like that a chance. But, I wonder if I'm going to hate it. Because I'll tell you, like, there's some things where people said, you're going to love this. You're going to love this. You should read this book. You should watch this movie. And I've just never done it. And I'm glad I didn't. Like, 50 Shades of Grey. Never seen any of the movies. Never read any of the books. Because I heard it was absolute garbage. Have you read
My
any
thing
of
is,
them?
I don't like watching things where people that I fall in love with get killed often. So that's what I mean by it's not my genre.
Oh, okay.
I don't like falling in love with a character and then being like, haha. Like, that's why I liked Supernatural. They always just brought him back 8 million times.
Right. I don't know. Oh, there's incest in Game of Thrones. Fantastic. Great.
Yes.
Oh, wonderful. Worst book ever. What was the worst book ever, Lucy? The new season of Dexter is really good, Tussie. I have seen it. Really, really good. Couldn't get into Game of Thrones. All right. Well, I'm worried now. I'm worried, guys. I'll let you guys know on our next live
my
stream.
mom and my sister were like, don't call us on Sundays. That's when the new episode airs.
Wow. That's crazy. See, and that's the thing is this is what I'm being told. Like, okay, you have to watch it. You're going to love it. It's, it'll be really interesting. And if you don't like it, we won't watch it. And okay. So I'm going to embark on this journey and we will see.
And now that we've completely made a left turn off what our live stream was about.
Which we always do because, ADHD or some shit. I don't know. Maybe it's the gummies.
We're coming up on an hour, and I want to thank everyone for coming, helping us come back and get back into it. Obviously, we're super nervous because it feels like it's our first stream all over again.
I know. I felt like I just rambled tonight about random stuff. I probably did. So thanks for listening to that.
Yeah. And thanks everyone for coming. I'm probably going to go ahead and hop off here. We don't want to stay on too long.
Yep. You guys are awesome. It's good to be back. So we'll see everybody in the Discord and
Kim's got a big date with Jason tonight, so she's got a
Aquaman. Gotta go. Cheers to you too, Ronnie. Have a good one, everyone.
Bye, y'all.